opening round of the Imperial Tour de Nelspruit Wildside Enduro was hosted by the Wildside Enduro once again, right at the beginning of the 2017 season, and a massive entry of riders lined up to go and do battle at what looked like was going to be one of the toughest rounds ever. The race was held at the Eagle High Estates on Loch Hill, owned by Warwick Mason, one of the riders and one of the people key in putting this event together. Himself and Greg Hodgkins put together a tough track. Riders were lined up, ready to rock and roll, and it would be an early start for our pro category races. All the big names and the big swingers were ready to get the season underway. Few early words from Warwick Mason telling the riders what they were in for, and it was a super early start as well. Very different situation because of the severity and the length of the track. The pro riders were going to be going out at 7:30 in the morning. That's a lot earlier than they normally start out, but of course with the low felt summer heat, it was going to be a crazy hot start to the day. The pace was always going to be in the hands of the top three runners. Dwayne O'Cleinham's Boren Erasmus and Wild William Gillett from KZN turning up to get the job done. They were the first riders out through the prologue as well, and don't let the pros fool you. This was an extremely slippery prologue. That morning dew was not going to be burning off anytime soon. Boren Erasmus, normally on the Yamaha, moves himself across onto a KTM for the 2017 season, as does Wild Willie Gillett, picking up his ride on the Liquorland squad, also running on the KTMs. Just after them, it would be Justin Flemmer, a great rider who looks in incredible form coming into the 2017 season. Kim Bergman goes out there as well. He will be a rider to watch. He loves it. The tougher, the better. Into the prologue and the 114, a famous number of Dwayne O'Cleinham's, first rider to go and open up the track. He wouldn't be too worried about trying to stretch things away in the early part, just getting himself nicely warmed up. Boren Erasmus was running good numbers there. Wild Willie Gillett, just a huge threat in the senior ranks. And Flemmer trying to stay on the wheel, just learning from the masters. Kim Bergman drops himself in there. A little bit of sitting down there. And again, one of the top riders showing exactly how it is done. Garvey just behind him. And the rest of the riders now starting to feel their way through. Great section here just outside of the pit village. Enduro across a man-made section really brings the families and the spectators up close and personal. You can smell exactly what is going on out there on the track. Family atmosphere is what the low-felt Enduros are all about. And once again, big thanks to Jack Brotherton for getting us up and our eye in the sky, bringing some incredible footage. All the riders going out there as we go on board the Seasons in Africa chopper and look down on the one and only Dwayne Clenhams. Plying the field, a rider that likes to lead from the front. He took a lot of victories in this tour in the 2016 running of the championship. And 2017, he's looking for a clean scorecard once again. He'd have to fight for it today, though. You could see that Boren Erasmus had something to prove. Back down in pit village, and it was the second riders briefing of the day as the rest of the categories prepared themselves to go out on their assault of round one of this amazing Imperial Tour de Nelspruit Low-Felt Enduro Championship Series. 8:30, that would be the marker of the second race of the day.
3, 2, 1, wish you luck, my man.
Wayne Everton on the brother KTM, he would be chased down by Otto Hollacker and Rad KTM Sean Kirk. Let's go talk about the track with Warwick.
From the get-go, we're going to start off on a nice prologue. They'll drop down into some gnarly little tree sections or some logs that are lying down, quite nice and slippery. As they come out of there, they'll go through the tyre section, good for the spectators, and then they'll clear off and they'll go behind and out of the pits.
Bit of a yard sale early on in the prologue. Extremely slippery conditions. You can see a little bit of that mud getting dragged over those rocks that already had that morning dew and moss on them, and it was just causing all kinds of chaos. The 125 Craig McDonald's and then a 901 of Kenneth Bray, unfortunately finding a little bit of dirt early on in the day. Everyone just puzzling their way through the early kilometers of this race, and some people just scratching their heads trying to figure it out. Our ladies, Chantal Vermeulen, figuring out the tire jam, and those little legs working hard.
Tired already, you've only just started, eh?
That's what we call fun.
Into the starting arena once again for the Kickstarters class. A shorter loop for the kids to deal with, and often a mother or a father going along and shadowing, making sure the kids are running all good. Elru van der Westhuizen moving on up into the 85s this year as well, riding out the Vans Racing Middelburg, and he'll be a rider to watch out for as he tries to figure things out. One day, he'll be hoping to line up alongside a pro like this. Back out onto the big loop, Dueno Kleinans was just feeling comfortable easing his way into the day. Thankfully, the morning coolth was still there, it hadn't got too hot. Now riding out of KTM with Ambassador Foods as one of his backers, Barton Erasmus, working hard as they start to climb the ladder. Kevin Scott there was there to get all the pictures up close and personal, and Justin Flemmer also working his way up into a top 3 position. To the first refuel, and we caught up with a couple of words and reactions from Dueno Kleinans, who was leading on the road.
Am I in front?
I think so, Ryan. Looks like it. Ryan, just tell us a bit about the route while you're refueling there.
Yeah, all good. I just went wrong in the beginning, so I don't know where I am. But very cool, quite tough. Got a little sweat going.
Chilled as always. Is he in front? Yeah, well, most of the time he is. It's almost a given with that rider. So strong. Rowan van der Westhuizen as well. We just saw Elru. That's Dad. Welcome to the family. And more words on the course from Warwick.
Eventually they'll come out at a big granite dome, what we call the Big Rock. Good spectator point up there. Chopper loves it as well. It's good to see the first riders coming through there. From the Big Rock they'll drop down the valley floor and we'll go down 2 titties and we'll come up Long Drop. Long Drop, at the top of Long Drop they'll have a refill section where they can have a splash and dash and a breath of fresh air. And then they're going all the way back down the valley again. A couple of river crossings. Then they'll go around Greg's Hill and the pros are going to climb up Afkak all the way to the top of Rock and Roll. Spectacular views at the top there, but you have to work hard to get to the top of the hill. After that, we're going to go all the way down Greg's Hill to the bottom of the valley floor again, and then we're going to hunt Welcome. Welcome's the last downhill of the race. We'll go down Welcome through a river at the bottom, and then from there it's all home sailing all the way back home.
Join us after the break for more action from the Imperial Toyota Nelspruit Wildside Enduro. So back out of the Wildside Enduro, brought to you by Imperial Toyota Nelspruit. This is one tough track. Stevie Marinoff spinning the tires on the smoker, trying to find some kind of traction. Thank goodness he's 6 foot plus and can find a little bit of extra traction from his feet. Neil Curtis, same kind of story, but when you watch the riders sitting on their rear fender, it just shows they are puzzling, trying to figure things out. A very thin trail, but more and more riders go through it, the more those little rocks get churned up and the less grip there truly is. Thomas Eichel know exactly what to do, but with a couple of rocks getting thrown at his front wheel, he'll also just be hanging back and waiting for his turn to try and figure a way up this hill. Thomas knows what he's doing. Good to see Wynand Kleinams out there as well. He'll be attacking in the senior ranks. He's really become an all-round rider in his later years, you won't mind me saying that. Very, very strong at off-road, but starting to become a real contender in the enduro style of things. Of course, with the national off-road season starting very late, in fact, the last racing week of March, all these riders just chomping at the bit. And the Wildside Enduro came along at the right time. One by one, the riders have to make their way up a near vertical cliff to try and get the job done. Johnny Viviers, unfortunately, a little bit off track, hooked up, stalled out. Little shake of the head, and already just looking tired. We caught up with Greg Hodgkin to talk about Greg's Hill.
Short section, 100 meters, one of the hardest sections on the track.
Cool, and how far in the loop are we?
3/4. It's only this hill, Greg's Hill, and then all the way home, down Welcome home. Almost there.
Yeah, that's all there is. Thanks for that, Greg, and it looks like you guys have laid out an incredible track. Back down in the valley, starting to puzzle his way up and over, just passing the 3/4 marker. The 144 of Wesley Patterson, now teaming up with Kyle Erasmus as they put together a great factory squad for the 2017 season. Rowan van der Westhuizen out of Vans Racing, Middelburg. We've seen him try and climb the ladder as well. He'll be a rider to watch out for running in the senior ranks. And then a little bit further back, everyone is starting to group themselves together, working nicely to climb the hill and get the job done. Pierre Mouton looking like he is in a good situation. And the horizon just up and over. Great work from our cameraman to get all the way to the top. I think the chopper might have had a hand in that one, but you can see riders just one more hill. And that's what they always say, one more hill and then it gets easier. We'll see, we'll see. A couple of riders just getting a little bit tired, veering their way off the track, allowing the rest of the riders who are carrying the momentum to carry on up and over. And our drone shots as well. We always say it, the technology in filming and motorsport has helped us out so much to get into places and get the shots to bring you guys a real look and feel of just how tough it is out there. When Everton goes through there, there's Garvey on the chase as well, and that looked like a Kim Bergman just behind him. So these are the guys that are running inside of the top 5 at this stage, running incredible pace. And also these shots giving us an idea of just how beautiful the Lowveld is. The Eve 555 of Ricky Tomaselli, unfortunately just finding a little lurker at the wrong point when he was just totally out of gas. Thomas Ike heads into the refuel, and he'll be chuffed to see just downhill on the way home.
It's endurance, what it's about. The soft and the sweat. Blood, sweat and gears.
Hey, what's happening? Amazing stuff. You carry on this way?
Yeah,
Awesome.
bit of gas just to go to the end of the lap, eh?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Got lost a few times, unfortunately.
You guys have to run the GPS now, eh?
Yeah.
Where are you going, Dad? Nice, eh? Hectic out there. Definitely one worth doing this here.
That's Keegan Ike. He's running in the lead of the Pro Bs, so he is in great company right on his dad's back wheel. That'll help him out. Back out on the track then. Ali Drennan riding out of Roos KTM, coming off a bit of a rough injury-riddled 2016. Good to see him running the numbers now. Look at those views. That's why we race in the Lowveld. Absolutely stunning. Dieter de Vet just getting hung up and then finding a neutral. Grabbing that clutch. He's going to have to work on that technique. I nearly ended myself doing one of those. And then Kyle Erasmus back into the full flow. We caught up with Jack Brotherton now.
Great start to the year. Over 250 bikes today. Amazing track. I think in for a big season ahead. Some great riders and tough out there today. We enjoyed it.
And the categories just start piling up. On the hill, it's just going to be all kinds of chaos. It does become a one-liner affair. Stuck on the tree there, Ryan Alberts, just trying to figure things out and get his bike picked up. Once again, just so hard work in the heat. And when you just cannot carry the flow because riders are crashing all around you, it gets tough. Barry Brown, the number 100, a rider that definitely knows how to puzzle his way through these situations, trying to find some hot lines up the hill. Pierre Mouton there, figuring things out quite nicely. Gets himself up and trucking. Still looks quite fresh as well. We saw Wesley Patterson a little earlier climbing his way out of the valleys. Well, now he's up into the rocks, and now it's starting to hurt. And Wesley just making a bit of a slip there, and just shows you one slip, and you fall like 3 bike lengths back. It's tough. It's very tough. Nice little loop out there from Ryan Alberts as well, just to show you that the front end is way up there. Justin Kaczynski with a slightly second-hand sounding bike at this point. Ali Drennan and those long legs working nicely. He'll be making a ton of passes on this hill.
That was quite a big little loop over there.
Yes. Tired. What can I say? Tough.
Ron Alberts, how to loop out a bike. Ron Bailey from Roos KTM, how to just simply pick up a bike like it's nothing. That's Big Ron. Luan Stapelberg on the 798. He'll be a rider who will be looking for a result in the seniors. And here's Gavin Morton.
Hey Dave.
How are you?
It's Gavin Morton.
There you go.
Lekker man, you good?
Okay. So the green route's just a little bit easier than the normal route, eh?
A whole lot easier. I did one red loop just to have a look what it was like, and it was pretty gnarly and tough. But it's a lovely ride, beautiful ride.
Yeah, and he knows exactly how to handle all of the terrain. Does Big Gav. So what goes up must come down, and a fantastic sight for all of the riders throughout the categories to just get into the downhill sections and head on home. There goes Mrs. Labuskakny. She'll be chuffed with that. At the finish line and in the arena, everyone was just waiting for the pros to make their way home, and after over 6 hours in the saddle. Remember, they started at 7:30 and they came across the line after 1:30. That is a long, tough day in the seat to start out the 2017 season. And it's Dueno, once again, the first rider to see the checkers.
Geez, Dwayne, another one in the bag, but not with that incident on the last lap. Apparently you got some fuel spill in your face. You had to ride half a lap with face full of petrol.
Yeah, luckily I had my goggles on. The can obviously got heated up, and then I didn't notice, so I opened it and it just all exploded in my face. On my hands, my grips were slipping, but stopped and rubbed sand on it, and we made it to the end. Pretty good still, I think.
And the course itself?
Yeah, the course was very, very challenging. It always reminds me of a day out at the roof, or a little bit of a maniacs this race. So it's a real tough race, but a good course. You know, I just want to, I couldn't do this without my sponsors, Brother Leader Trade, KTM, TRP, all the guys behind us. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
In the Thor Results Roundup, the official results then from the Wildside Enduro. The green class was won by Gavin Morton ahead of Rudolf Hitzeroth, Reinhard Arnoldi, PC Fantondo, Christopher Swart and Chris Brewer picking up the top 6 there. High schools was won by Luke Walker ahead of Kronya Lorden, Stephen Marinov, Connor Roebuck, Ralph Skutter and Bernie Arnoldi rounding up the top 6. In the Masters, Wayne Everton ahead of John Blucknout, Otto Horlicker, Stephen Prost, Sean Kirk and Brett Prowder. Then in the seniors overall, it was Isaac Hall ahead of Danny Heeman, Neil Curtis, Richard Conifee, Johnny Viviers and Pierre Mouton. In the pros, it was Dwayne Kleinons dominating ahead of Byron Erasmus, Robert Garvey edging out Justin Flemmer. Then it was William Gillett